Welcome to week 6 for ED 2491. The focus of this week's presentation will be classroom management and all the things that are involved in trying to ensure that you create a safe and supportive classroom environment. As some of you have realised at this stage of your professional experiences, this is one of the most needed subject areas for teachers, as it is mastering the art of behaviour management that determines the quality of learning in the classroom. For this reason, out of all the subject areas that you're going to encounter, I feel that this is one of the most important and is often overlooked by beginning teachers. By the end of this week, you should be able to describe the 4 aspects of teacher behaviour that affect the behaviour of students, identify and use microskills in a simulated context, describe the mistakes teachers sometimes make regarding behaviour management, apply human behaviour theory such as GLASSes to student behaviour, as well as learning and motivational theories to help explain student behaviour. Lastly, identify elements of behaviour management models in your simulation schools policies, known as Tropics College and as described in your readings. To begin, we need to be aware that behaviour management is only one of the classroom management strategies, and that classroom management includes a whole array of other factors, such as curriculum planning and resource management. As you have been a student for many years of your life and have also seen students portrayed in a whole array of texts, such as in novels and films, you'll be no doubt aware that students misbehave for a variety of reasons. They misbehave due to everything from lesson structure and content to the teacher's interaction with them, such as providing clear boundaries and establishing a healthy and positive relationship, or to the dynamics between students themselves, which will be largely unnoticed by the teacher and can sometimes catch the teacher by surprise. This is why Marsh talks about the need for a positive classroom environment, where if the teacher creates this, then even if there are issues between the students, the classroom expectations and atmosphere will alleviate the issues, at least while the students are in the classroom. Rogers gives a list of the 7 principles that teachers should follow when using language to do with management and discipline, but what he found is that good humour, or a teacher with a good sense of humour, is the most effective strategy for behaviour management. And I have also found this in my teaching career. Being able to laugh with students and not take things very seriously is basically key to establishing a really good rapport with them. In other words, students like they like it when they have a happy teacher. However, having said this, Richmond, in your readings, warns teachers about the mistakes that can be made when managing a classroom, such as becoming too friendly with students or not having strong enough boundaries. These interactions are also very important to understand, as they affect the learning process and the behaviour of students. According to Education Queensland's Better Behaviour, Better Learning Professional Development Suite, there are 4 aspects of our behaviour as teachers that will produce a safe and supportive environment for our learners. These are our actual teaching practices, also our organisational practices, so how organised we are, our relationship building practices, and our behaviour management practices. I would argue, just from my own experiences, the relationship aspect is the most important. These other ones are very important as well, but it's the relationship you build with your students that determines plays a large role in determining the environment that you'll establish in your classroom and the behaviour that you'll get from your students as the year progresses. The following flowchart illustrates all the factors that influence behaviour management, from the social and emotional factors to the classroom climate and the secondary behaviours to the cultural factors. This flowchart here illustrates all the multitude of factors that can cause students to do everything from not engaging in learning to causing disruption in the classroom. They all play a pivotal role. And just having an awareness of how all these can affect your classroom environment is also important to understand. Now, there is a lot of research on human behaviour on why we behave the way we do, including the behaviour of students and teachers in the classroom. Richmond introduces GLASSes theory about humans' 5 basic needs, and how each of these must be met in order for children or students to feel ready to learn. In this diagram, we have all the human needs that need to be met in order for students to learn. These include the survival needs, such as having enough food and water. The next one is the need to have a sense of belonging. In other words, children have an innate feeling, an innate need to belong. The need for power or respect. This is also a fundamental human need. The need to feel free and not constrained or restricted. And lastly, and also just as important, is the need to have fun. All these needs are fundamental human needs, and a teacher's awareness of these will influence how he or she reacts to the student's behaviour and what he or she sees as a solution. So how do theories like glasses apply to the classroom, you're probably thinking? Well, each school where you will be teaching, regardless of the institution, will have adapted behaviour management models as part of their classroom management policies. These theories are informed by many observations and particular perspectives about motivation and behaviour. These models can be categorised according to Marsh into the assertive discipline models and decisive leadership models. The behaviour management models can be identified as including 3 kinds of discipline: preventative, supportive, and corrective. So preventative is exactly as it sounds. It is a teacher putting procedures in place to prevent misbehaviour occurring, such as classroom rules and even planning engaging lessons that will minimise disruption from occurring. Where supportive discipline, the second one, is a discipline that aims to help students manage their own behaviour, such as asking students what they could have done better or what they would do next time. Lastly, there is the corrective discipline, which may involve a punishment, such as being held back from play or losing a privilege. In your teaching practice, you will use all these disciplinary practices to varying degrees, but using the preemptive ones, which is the first 2, the preventative and the supportive, will end up with much better results in the long term than wholly relying on corrective measures, which can work very well in the short term, but over the long term can cause problems with your relationship with your students and their whole perception of teaching and learning in general. In all this talk about different types of discipline, it is essential to discuss what it is as teachers, what we will do as teachers to try and create a supportive environment that is also engaging. Well, as you have no doubt gathered from the Profex experiences, teachers use a number of techniques to establish and maintain a supportive classroom environment. These are known as microskills. Microskills are essential tools to have in your toolkit for behaviour management. Everything from selectively ignoring students' misbehaviour to providing praise or even a raised voice if needed. It is essential that you read the Essential Skills for Classroom Management booklet, which is a booklet that is located in Learn JCU, and you incorporate these in your lesson plans. Even more microskills are identified in the list of 28 behaviour corrective strategies that are ordered from the least intrusive to the most intrusive in the Better Behaviour, Better Learning Professional Development Suite, which is subtitled Essential Skills in Classroom Management by Education Queensland. After reading through these booklets, you will no doubt begin to see that taking a positive and preventative stance through the use of these skills is preferable to than having to punish behaviour problems. So to summarise this module, there are 4 aspects of classroom management that need to be considered when planning lessons, and behaviour management is just one component. We now know that each school has a classroom management policy that is informed by the assertive discipline model and the decisive leadership model described by Marsh. There are similarities and differences between these 2 approaches, but you will in your teaching career develop a whole array of behaviour management practices that will borrow ideas and strategies from a variety of theories and approaches. As there are so many theories regarding student behaviour, you as a future teacher need to know all these to develop your microskills so that you can focus on teaching and learning rather than just managing behaviour. So in this week's tutorial workshop or discussion board, To encourage thinking about the ideas in this module, you will discuss your analysis of 2 of the following questions. They are broken down into 2 sections. These are the guide questions for the analysis of student action, or the guide questions for the analysis of teacher actions. So basically what's essential for you to remember is that you only choose 2 of these. So maybe one of these, one from the student actions and one from the teacher actions, but not two in each. Okay? So I'll read through the first 4 questions. Richmond summarises Glass's theory that states that human behaviour is driven by 5 basic needs. If these needs are not met, then, according to Glasser, our well-being suffers. How would you explain Sam's behaviour in terms of this framework? And Sam, it references Sam here, which is a case study in your readings. Which of Sam's needs are perhaps not being met? What evidence are you using? If you are not sure, what further evidence would you need? The next one. Richmond also summarises Droker's, Grunwald and Pepper's explanation for why students misbehave. They explain that children misbehave because they want to achieve one or more of 4 goals. Using their theory, how might you explain Sam's behaviour? Or you could revisit chapters 3 and 4 in Marsh. Are there any theories there that could help explain the behaviour? You could also look at where Marsh does not present a theory in chapter 13. However, he identifies 4 classes of factors that influence behaviour. Using this figure as an organiser, list as many factors as you can that could be adversely affecting Sam. Now, looking at the guide questions for analysis of teacher actions, Richmond discusses 7 mistakes that teachers sometimes make regarding behaviour management. Describe some teacher responses to the Sam situation that will show at least 3 of these mistakes. Explain how the mistake is evident in a teacher's response that you selected. In our analysis of the case, we haven't yet analysed appropriate teacher responses to the situation. Imagine that Sam is in your class in your ED 2491 Profex. What would you do to manage Sam's behaviour? Justify your courses of actions. So as you can see, there's quite a bit of choice here in what you choose, and just to ensure that you are answering it in full, as long as you choose to, it's all good. So in this week's personal journal entry, you will reflect on the micro skills that you have read about and then list all the ones that you have identified or come across. You will analyse a case study and record your ideas about the case study. So this is a case study that you'll find in Marsh, and it's referred to as the SAM case. You will also consider that these are the questions that we will be discussing on the discussion board and will be contributing to your final grade for this subject. Okay? If you have any further questions or suggestions, please see the learning guide, the subject outline, Learn JCU and Facebook for further contact details and information about this subject, or you can contact me directly via my email address. So thank you for listening to Week 6 Classroom Management. Next week I'll present a video for Week 7 Learner-Centered Strategies. Please subscribe and comment as any feedback is appreciated. Thank you. Bye for now.